Okay, so here's one of the things to look out for when you're buying vintage fishing reels. Essentially we have here some hardened car grease, which has been used to maintain this reel. I think if you look on the other side, you can actually see there's a ratchet switch. So if I turn this ratchet switch on the camera, you can see absolutely nothing happens. Not a single thing. It does move a little bit, but really these are parts which they're not cogs. They should be oiled rather than greased, and when you flick the ratchet switch you should literally get a direct response. You shouldn't get this kind of sluggish problem. So this is now going to have to be cleaned out. The good news is though that essentially there is nothing wrong with reels like this, they just need cleaning out. Okay, there's a couple of things I wanted to show on these two reels. Essentially these reels are old and they haven't been maintained for some considerable time. So as you can kind of see, this reel only turns very slowly, and the chances are that there is very little wrong with this. It will be almost certainly hard and grease inside, and I'll just show you that just now. And you can see with this Keepy Moritz, this has also got an element of hardening going on. Okay, so inside the front of the reel here, you can see just here, they've also used grease there, and if you try to move the arm, I don't know if you can see it there, but it moves very slowly, and that's because they've greased it and it's gone hard, and they shouldn't really have done that. It should be an oiled part. So you can kind of see after loosening the screws, if you look inside the reel, you can see here, look, this is all hardened grease. In fact, the grease that's been used here is grease for a car, and this is not a good grease for a fishing reel. When you try to turn the reel, there's a significant problem with being able to turn it, because there's grease, essentially grease, all over the sliding parts where it should be oiled instead of greased, and there's just too much grease in there altogether. And you can also see from the cover that there's too much in there too. And this is essentially, you can see there, it's very stiff because it's quite old. Grease is actually made from soap and oil, and over a period of time the oil loses its solvent, which evaporates, and the grease itself loses the water content, and so it becomes stiffer and stiffer, unless it's a specially designed grease for fishing reels, of course, which this is not. Now this is an old KP Morit reel, and as you can see inside here, one of the reasons this is turning so slowly is we've got thickened grease inside here. It isn't quite as bad as the other reel, the Ambidex just there, but it is bad enough to cause the reel to operate rather slowly. Okay, so here's an example of a hardy Hardex, and if you look how slowly that's turning, you try and wind the handle, it hardly moves. So this is another example of a reel where essentially you've got a lot of hardened grease inside it, and it needs cleaning out, and it will almost certainly work again perfectly, I would imagine. Well, that brings us to the end of the current video. Thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to check out our store on Odds Ornaments at Etsy.com. Thanks very much, bye.